Welcome to Energetic Advantage, the podcast where energy isn't woo, it's your edge. I'm your host, Jessica Serrato, intuitive strategist, lifelong pattern decoder, lover of numbers, and energetic guide for visionary leaders. Around here, we go energy first, strategy second. Every episode will give you a perspective, a tool, or a timeline shift that helps you lead from your power. Because the truth is, your energy is your most undervalued asset until you learn how to use it. Get ready, you're about to have the advantage. Let's begin. Okay, this is slightly embarrassing, but I'm just going to roll with it. A little behind the scenes action before we get into today's episode. So it is a guest episode, and typically my process when I have guests on is to, of course, have the conversation, and after the conversation, record this introduction. Number one, because I just think it's so weird for me to read their bio when they're literally sitting across from me staring at me. But number two, I love to reflect on the conversation and actually pull out what I felt was the through line, was the gold nugget, and I just love to sound like I just know what I'm doing all of the time. But here's the thing. I had an interview with this amazing guest. I'll introduce you to her in a second, but her name is Cindy Ryan. And it was right before my youngest daughter, Charlie, had a orthodontist appointment. So I got off the call, I shut down the app, the Riverside, and I ran to get Charlie to the orthodontist. So now when I'm sitting down to tell you what we talked about, I literally cannot remember and have no idea of what we talked about. And this is exactly how I can sum up Cindy's energy. She is pure magic. That whenever she and I get together when we speak, I completely lose track of time. I completely lose track of reality. And many times it's hard for my logical brain to remember what we talked about because we literally were not in this dimension. And yes, I hear some of you saying, but Jess, you can just listen back to the interview. Dude, it is summer break. This mom got no time for that. So what I will share is that Cindy Ryan is an amazing human. She is a talented, intuitive, an epic psychic. She is a channeler. She is a creator. She is an experiential learner. She is one of only 7% of people in this world who have no errors in her chart. And she also has no arrows. And because of that, she is one of the most magical people I know. Such a synchronistic time. We share in the podcast episode, that's one thing I can remember, the story of how we met. And since then, we have traveled many journeys together, including one of the most beautiful journeys in her life. And again, she will talk about that, I know, on the podcast. And we celebrated last year's 8/8 portal in a geodome in the middle of the woods. Does this tell you anything about what to expect with my next guest? I will stop talking and I will simply allow all of us to experience the magic that is Cindy Ryan. So here we go. Okay, so after that introduction, we are officially here in the conversation. You know, I was laughing. This is such a full circle moment because we met on a podcast, Cindy.
Oh, we did?
We met on your podcast. Okay, so everybody, this is 6 years ago now. I was a guest on Cindy's podcast. We had an amazing conversation. And we realized at the time that we didn't know this before we recorded the podcast, that we both actually live in North Vancouver. And not just in the same city. We literally lived, 5 minutes?
5 minutes, not even.
Yes. So thank you, technology, for bringing us together. I am so grateful for that moment and the 6 years that has happened since then. So welcome, Cindy. I'm so excited that you are here.
Thank you. I love it. I can't believe it's been 6 years. It feels 6 lifetimes. So much has happened for the two of us together in growth and in business. And personally, you have been such a beauty beside me and helped my family and me and in all ways.
And you as well. And I just was laughing before the podcast is I shared this with you before that you have always been in my mind as a guest, but I could never place in my mind like where to put you and what we were going to talk about. And since then, a podcast has aired where I told everybody why I'm canceling seasons, why I no longer need seasons or topics, because I've realized that this is my energetic advantage to respond and to be in the moment. But I was laughing, and then what was it? A couple weeks ago, I woke up and I'm like, you were in my dream. You're supposed to be on my podcast. What are we going to talk about? We don't know, but let's do it. So here we are. And this goes to show, so for those of you who know numerology and who've just been listening to the podcast, Cindy, in her energy grid, is one of only 7% of the human population who has no arrows. So you might have heard me say in the Taylor Swift episode, so many people have these different arrows and what they mean. And what I love most about you, Cindy, is that you have no arrows, which means that you are so adaptable, so versatile. Like you said, you literally have lived so many lifetimes in this lifetime. And I feel your energetic advantage is just staying in the moment and following your direction as it is now.
Yeah. Thank you. I know as soon as I remember you saying that, wow, Cindy, you have no arrows. And I was like, what does that mean?
Sometimes I have to watch what I blurt out. When people don't have any numbers on their emotional line, I'm like, oh my gosh, you have no numbers on your heart. And I'm like, oh wait, that doesn't mean you have no heart. That means something else. I digress. Yeah. The other thing where I want to start is when we were first looking at your chart, when we first met, you really honed in on your seasons. Yes. And that was interesting to me because most people or other people are like ruling number or grid or whatever. And of everything that I shared with you, you really had felt the strong connection to your seasons, to these ebbs and flows. And then just recently, I want to start here, you added to your lifelong repertoire of things that you've done. You were a one-woman show in a sold-out theater where you shared these seasons or what you call the doors of your life. Can you talk to us? Can we start here? Maybe just a little bit about you. Maybe we should introduce you first. So maybe a little bit about you and really this seasonality of your life or these doors of your life or why that energy has always been so prevalent for you.
I think, like you said, it's interesting when you shared with me that I was an 8 of club, meaning that I was this one of 3 number or cards that stayed fixed while everyone rotated around. And it was, I'm going to cry at some point on this podcast. It was as though you saw me. Sorry, now I'll cry and we'll take a minute. I finally felt understood in a world that made no sense. And because I do have such an unusual energy, and I can be adaptable, and I can move in a way that doesn't make sense, but is easy for me to do. For example, I could go into a large party, a large function filled with doctors and lawyers, have no problem at all. Could understand, feel comfortable, feel fluid in the space. Could go to a space of where there might be a lot of poverty and could feel it and understand it and go there. Just, there's something I don't really understand, but understand.
Yes.
And so the seasons of my life that you expressed in that moment, I have had a lot of lessons that seemed to be challenging for me, but the way you honed in that I was going to have 18 years, basically, of whatever it was.
Yes.
Of a lot of lessons, for some reason, hit me that I knew within me I was going to have that time so that I was going to share that out in the world. And the second you gave me that data, all of it made sense. And the way you gave me that information was like, this is your purpose. It's still going to be a while longer. There's obviously going to be goodness in this time, but you are meant to continue to learn. You are meant to continue to basically dig in, because the reason you're doing this is to share this with all the people who are, like I just said, for example, in those doctors and lawyers are no better than the people that are in the harder space, but I am meant to flow between those with the hard lessons I'm learning to give back. Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense. Okay, so what Cindy is saying about her seasons is I want to explain this a little bit so everyone listening can understand. So in the Pythagorean numerology, our numbers, we have 4 seasons and they're 9 years long. So 1 through 9. So just like you've probably heard, our years go through 1 through 9. We have personal years like that. And we have 4 seasons. Now everybody's season starts at a different age. It's a big mathematical equation, which I won't explain here. But again, Cindy's chart is a bit of an anomaly because instead of 4 different seasons, her first 2 seasons of her life were exactly the same. And this doesn't happen for a lot of people. It's very rare. In each of our seasons, we have a focus and a challenge. And like Cindy was saying, for 2 seasons in a row, it was the same focus and the same challenge. And so I think this is really important for people to understand. And also, just an example in my life is when I realized that I was going through a season and my focus was a very specific number and energy. And my husband, in his season, my focus, what I really wanted, was his greatest challenge. And as soon as I realized that, it was like, boom. Obviously, this is why we're disagreeing or the energy is feeling off. And again, as of this moment, we're still married, just kidding. We've been together for 26 years, right? But just having a language for that and me realizing, wow, the more I talk about how excited I am about this thing and how I just can't wait for it to happen and I'm so focused on this, when I knew that that was his biggest challenge or trigger, I communicated it differently. I talked about it differently. And so just knowing that about your chart and your partner's chart or whoever your chart will help. Did you have anything else you wanted to say about seasons, Cindy, now that we kind of described it for everybody?
No, just I think you know all of it, but I do think it was a very helpful tool for me.
Yeah.
And I think knowing the people around you a little bit, there are seasons, knowing that it's not that it starts when you're 1. It starts, like mine started when I think I was 27. Was that right?
29. Yeah.
29. Right.
36
exactly.
minus 7. So that was your mathematical equation to 29.
Yeah.
And mine started when I was 25. So 36 minus 11. So yes, it's so like we're all starting at different times. And a beautiful analogy that you and I have used before, it's like when you see people running on a track, when you all start at the same time, it's very easy to see who is quote unquote winning or behind or ahead. But what happens in our life is when we look at this track, people are started at different times or ending at different times. So Cindy's lap number 2 might be my lap number 4. And so it's you cannot look from an outsider's perspective and compare yourself. We're not running a race. We're not running the same race. We're each running our own.
And that just came into my head. It always has helped me when speaking to others was a part of your season for you where you felt this call to be doing something big, but you were like, but I have little children. And so you recognized your big focus in that time was actually to be there for your children. And that energy was big because you were there to be there for them. And I've said that to people so often, and that has released that urge within them that where they were like, I'm meant to be doing this, but I'm here. And then that pull is, oh wait, yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. Once my ego got out of the way, and what is bigger than being someone's whole world? Nothing.
Yes.
Yes. And I'm laughing out loud because in true Cindy fashion, if I were to tell anybody else to say, okay, these, like all of these lessons, all of these experiences, you're meant to share your wisdom. They might share them with a family member or a friend or a few close people. And you took that and you're like, I'm going to share it with the world. I'm going to create a literal one woman show,
Yeah.
invite everybody I know and people I don't know, and to come witness this sharing. Can you talk to me about how that came to you, that decision to so openly and vulnerably share that, and also the impact that that had on you and the people who came?
Yeah. So I was diagnosed with breast cancer on January 27th, 2025. An interesting piece also that I just want to put into that was probably 6 months before I was diagnosed. You told me that I was going to be meant to learn a lesson where I was going to have to learn to receive as much as I was giving out into the world. And that was going to be what my year ahead was going to be. So when lots of people receive the information that they have breast cancer, they take that in like, oh gosh, this is terrible. It clicked right away, that note of what this season was going to be. I was going to learn how to finally receive. And I took that in of how do I now learn to receive from my body? And that's what I did through that journey, was learn how to receive, how to give and nourish to my body. And it was such a beautiful time, which is backwards intuitively of what most people would think, but it was. And my mom will say that we both actually miss that time we had together during our cancer treatment, because it was both excruciating and beautiful, because we learned to receive so much. And I recognize that January 27th is also her birthday. And I've also learned that she is the card, which is the gift to give to me to learn. And so then what I recognized was, how do I then give the gift back to her so that her birthday becomes back, but then also the gift back to everyone else of what I have learned. And I don't give in material gifts. I have to give from love is what I do. And so I sat with it knowing it had to be something. I didn't know what. And then suddenly it just all poured in that it would be this door that I would walk through. But it couldn't be just the one lesson of cancer. It had to go back, because that cancer came from a layered experience of all the lessons, not to blame cancer, but I mean, it was every
100%.
single thing. And so suddenly I just saw myself in all these doors of my life. And so I thought, we're going through all the seasons, and I will share positive and negative, because there is no difference. It's simply a line. And I will do a 2-hour show. And you were part of that, as I expressed it to you, that you were there at the very beginning of, this is what I'm going to do. We talked through that. And I spent, oh my gosh, I don't even know, months in this deep space of creativity to create this, with this visualization of everyone there and the ripple effect of how that could be, of me talking and mirroring to them what it might be in their life, each door. So yes, this was my life, but how could it be in their childhood? Da, 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 da.
And from a person who received that experience from you, I think that was the impact. I think many people, well, with you, I never know what to expect. So I just, you just say come, and I say, okay, great. But I think maybe if you were invited to one of these things, you would be like, oh, she's going to tell us about her life, which you did. But I also feel what you did so beautifully, oh my gosh, am I going to cry? Is that you actually invited them to go deeper into their life. For every lesson you shared, you also shared a reflection, a question, a way for them to look at their life and to go deeper into their seasons or their doors. And in that way, although we haven't experienced exactly what you've experienced, we do have this connection of the human experience.
Yes.
And the energy that is there. And it was such a beautiful night of celebration, but also reflection and also, right, all of these things.
Yeah.
So I'm so grateful that you did that. And I know that you continue to share these lessons. I want to go now to, again, these concept of seasons or doors, where our life is not a straight line. There's that saying, oh, you have to live life forwards, but you can only understand it backwards, or something like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so you being the energy that you are and what you know now, has there been a time in your life where perhaps you were focused on something or you wanted to do something, but maybe it wasn't time yet or it wasn't in your season, and yet you continued to push through? And now I feel your energetic advantage is kind of opposite to that, but I'm curious of like how that has shifted for you.
Yeah, I think you probably know that so well and I don't know if this is what this is with my energy, but I have this determination. And that is, what do you call that? You use those words. It's like the positive and the
The empowered and disempowered. Yeah.
disempowered side. And that has been for me, because I think a lot of other people, speaking in your terms, I am my best and my worst from myself, right? And that's
Yes.
my card's advantage, which I think
Yes.
is different than other people.
Yes.
And so for me, what I have learned in the last few years is I can let things go so fast now. Whereas I used to be like, I just need to try a little harder. No, I know this will work. I believe this will work. I can see it because I can see so many possibilities. And I can see that things will work. I know it. I can see the possibilities. And because I can see so many possibilities, I can get stuck in a space for a very long time. And so that has happened where I've been stuck in relationships for too long. I've been stuck in jobs for too long. I have been stuck in conversations with my children for too long. And I've been, which I think we can all say, but I now, money talk, you know that for me, money I think was my hardest. I was like, money actually with my old house would have been my work. Like I felt like I had to hold it all together. And how can I do this? And I need to do this to keep my kids safe and to keep this and keep this and keep this. As soon as I heard cancer, I heard in my head, let everything go. Let that house go. Let all the work go. You do not need it. And the cancer went, and the next day I called my realtor, and everyone was like, you are crazy. And I did. And everything lined up so that my house was sold the same day as chemo, my son's graduation, and we moved in to an apartment, which the energetic numbers are the exact opposite of what my house was. And we are in a space now where all the stress that I was holding for the same season almost, right, that I was in before is all released. And now I'm the same person, but I do not have that same stress. And I suddenly am like, oh my gosh, by me just choosing one move to say, I don't have it anymore. I am not working the way I used to. I do not have the same conversations. I do not show up the way I used to. I can walk every day. I meditate every day. All those seeds I was actually asking for are planting and growing.
And it just feels like what I'm getting here is just like a spider web of kind of all of these lessons converging. And it was like you were following the breadcrumbs, right? It was like, and that lesson opened up possibility here and here. And that's so interesting to me because I know that so many people listening can relate to this idea of determination and independence and doing it myself and seeing an obstacle. And the first reaction is, well, I can overcome that. Instead of maybe another reaction was like, oh, like, how can I make this easier? And maybe this even subconscious belief of the result won't feel as good if I don't work really hard for it.
Yes.
And I think this is such a beautiful, again, just so much of your energy is such duality, such a paradox, which is it's as easy and as hard as a choice. But you chose. You chose. And you continue to choose. And so tell us a little bit about where you are now in your seasons, or where you are now in your door. You talked a little bit about before maybe pushing through or finding it hard to release or finding it harder to receive. And now you are in a different energy. How do you know or discern or determine what is meant for you and what is not? Do you have, I mean, there's so many things you probably do, but what is your energetic advantage there? Do you feel it? Do you know it? Do you have a, here's me, give me the decision-making tree, Cindy, that you use. But what is it that allows you to know and to really continue to choose again and again?
Well, and I think this is the part where we were talking a little bit about how I had developed a program for people that I was like, everyone just can go into this room like I did to create a presentation like I did, because that healing is so important and valuable. And I realized, oh wait, they actually can't just get from A to B. Or A to Z or whatever it is, right? You do need to have the process that means you do have to go through the trusting of yourself, of doing the first dive. So I look back to say, well, when I left my marriage, that took me 2 years, maybe 3, of sitting in deep space of, can I do this? Can I do this? And I'm going to be really honest, it probably took me 7
Wow.
years. 7 years of, is this right? How am I really feeling? Honoring my feelings. So that work was the first jump to get to. And then when I got to the other side, that, oh my God, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. And that part where I hear people now where they're in the middle of something going, well, I should, I can't, what about the kids, what about that, da, 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 da. They stay in that space in their thoughts and their thinking for so long. So that for me, those jumps, those leaps, those all took me those 17 years of me being in a season 1, which I know you don't talk about too much, for that long. So I can't really say these are all of my tools, because it took me all of those leaps of me going, I'm trusting Cindy, I'm pulling her now this way, to now get to the point where I am now, where I'm like one nudge now, where I'm like, it's off. And every single one of those parts of me goes, never again. So I'm just like, it's not aligned, I'm out. So now it's even a conversation where I just am like it was so fast in my head that it's fully aligned.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that really just explains why energetically you are now receiving so many more opportunities, having more things, because you have space, because you move so quickly with your knowing. What I hear you saying is, when you know now, you trust it the first time. Whereas before, you knew, but maybe it took you a few times,
So long.
to trust it.
A prime example, this is very funny but simple. I was out at a Broadway musical singing event, right? We were singing karaoke.
As you do.
As I will. And there was a woman who was singing. She was very, very close to me. And she was right in front of me. Now, some people would think, oh, well, she's really close. Maybe I should try to step back. Oh, or they would sing, I'm going to sing a little bit softer because I don't want her to have to hear me singing, and that will be uncomfortable for her and uncomfortable for me. I immediately thought, oh, she does not want to hear me singing in her ear. That is not nice for her. She's really close. I can see she can step forward. So I immediately just tapped her on the shoulder and said, hey, step 2, step forward. Better for you, better for me. So she just said, oh, step 2 steps forward. I can now sing to my full advantage. I'm happy. She's, oh, yeah. Steps 2 steps forward. The person next to me went, wow, good on you. But that's where now it's just, if she was a little upset with me asking her, well, I don't know, but no big deal. I just have no problem now with knowing I'm not going to sit in my head in
Yes.
any thought. It's okay.
And I think that's the exhaustion that many people underrate or don't see, right? It's like they're not doing anything, but all of their energy is spent with these mental gymnastics in the brain. Whereas if you just make the decision and act on it, then right away another opportunity or a decision comes in. And it's like the quicker and the more expansive you can get, instead of, because I feel just, I've shared with you this before, and every time, here's me, I always forget the specific number. But I remember when I was bungee jumping, which I know you have also, and I was bungee jumping, and I would see the people on the platform, they had a stopwatch, and they would start the stopwatch when you got to the end of the platform. And because I was there with a large group, and I noticed, I want to say around the 90-second mark, that the guides would become a bit more forceful. They would try to get them off the platform a little bit faster. And then I remember chatting with them at the end, and they said something like, yeah, it's 105 seconds is the turning point. Whereas if you jump within that time frame, great. But once you hit that, you have done so many loops in your mind that it becomes incrementally harder for you to jump once you get to that length of decision point. And I just remember, and I was like, 20 something at the time. I was like, if this isn't a metaphor for life in general, I don't know what is. Everyone, just think about this. There comes a point when you're making a decision where the longer, of course, you want to analyze it, you want to get the pros and cons, but there comes a point where actually you're making it harder for you to take the leap.
Yes.
And I think for everybody, and so what I hear you saying is you've reduced the time on the platform of the bungee jump.
Yeah. And I think that's right. Like when you look at me now, like where I just jumped out of the plane, right?
Yes,
And I just did that.
literally everybody. Cindy just went skydiving. Let's be clear. This is not a metaphor. This is not this is a literal jump from a plane.
Jumped out of the plane.
Okay?
And I had no worries, like no fear, no thought. I was up there, other than I wanted to make sure I got my footing right so I didn't fall out.
Yes.
But I think what you're saying is clear. But I look at myself back 17 years ago and my thoughts, which you know personally, and now I speak of, like, my worries of money were huge, and out of love, because I cared so much for my children. If you were to talk to me, because you and I haven't chatted so much in the last few months, zero.
I love it.
Zero.
Neutrality, baby.
Like, it is so calm, and I am in bed by 9. After this, I will be going for a walk. I am not thinking. I am able to be with my kids. I am able to put in time with my friends and nurture myself and eat well. It is mind-blowing to me how taking the leap off the bungee cord. I am a single mom. There is not a second income. There is no money flowing in from some extra. I am the person to show people. I don't have golden money falling from the sky. So, because people will say that, well, they obviously have. It's not. It's taking the choice to say, I'm out of that loop. And that's it.
I love that. And when we kind of come back to this realization, because universal law is the universal law of the vacuum. Once you release something, once you let something go, we're just kind of talking about this, something else comes in its place. And it's really important to be intentional about what comes in its place, because something will fill the void. Something will fill the vacuum. And so it's really important to be intentional. So when, oh my gosh, I'm laughing. I'm in a season of life where I don't even know what day it is.
Yeah.
But so I don't even know time-wise, but a couple of months ago, when you decided, hey, this program, this thing that I thought was my next step, that I was going to have people come in and take the stage and do that. Once you released that, what have you called into its place? And just like you said, if that was A to Z, I feel what you've called in its place is maybe B or C or D. It's still in the same energetic zone, but just a few steps before. Yeah. So what came in its place?
Well, on Valentine's Day,
Yes.
because embodiment of love, I was asked to, this is a little bit of a long thing.
Go for it. I love your story, Cindy. Go.
I was asked to officiate my friend's wedding.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so add officiant again to the list of Cindy's
Yes.
accomplishments, titles, resume,
Title.
whatever. Okay. Yes, I forgot about this. Okay.
And so I decided to take that very seriously because that is the determination part of me. And because that felt so special, I decided to go a little further with it and take a 2.5-year journey to become a priestess. And because why not? So I dove right in and fell so madly in love with it, knowing that this was the part of my journey that was waiting for me, like the next door for me was this piece, and have been just cracked open into this beautiful journey of learning of goddesses and true connection of humans and ceremonies of end of life ceremonies and connections and unions and partnerships. So definitely when they asked me that, I took it seriously.
You're like, I'm going to one up your officiant. I'm going to become a priestess.
But in it was this learning of the bitch wound, the whore wound, and the witch wound. And I, just like when you began with the seasons, that hit me. And
It
so
pinged.
it pinged. And so when something pings for me, I take it. And I am like, that's it. That's it. And so I was like, these are the wounds that stop the channel from opening to the truest space. So because like the witch wound within us all is the space where we are not able to open our truest selves. It's what keeps us from, like when people call it woo woo, it's that place where we don't feel that we can be our truest self. The bitch wound is what is our sovereign no, keeping us from keeping our voice quiet, all of those places where we want to be the pleaser, the good girl, all of those things, which have been there for thousands and thousands of years. And the whore wound, which is a connection to our truest body. It is about sensuality. Somebody hears the whore wound and they immediately, when you say that to people, some people, females, get very reactive. What? Because it is that connection, and we have that piece of sexuality that has been tainted over years. But yet, if I look at what I just went through with a disconnection with my own body, even though I'm such a feeling soul, has been blocked. And as I am fully opening it, and I am connecting in for the next 12 years to my heart space, the heart card.
Yes.
So realizing that I have to, and got this nudge starting in February, that I am supposed to put these learnings into the channeling portal that I've already been teaching. I've been teaching a channeling course for years, but realizing what has come easily to me, I haven't been able to fully teach to others because I haven't had those pieces.
Okay, so you're realizing that your embodiment of these three
Yes.
actually opened yourself up.
I've
Even
opened
more.
myself even more. And so even
Wow.
like people will say around me, like the veil, like suddenly I'm just like, what happened? What happened? What's this? And I am like, oh, I didn't even realize that happened.
Yeah.
So it is mind blowing to me. Like this course, obviously the joy of AI, which you will know, technology and I, but I wrote that I'm meant to be using AI, and suddenly the way I am using it is unbelievable.
Wow.
I am so excited that I was able to. Somebody asked, did you put this course together with somebody else? I said, no, I did it. I did it.
Yeah.
Because I am able to do that.
Okay, you saw me pick up a pen and start writing when
Yeah.
you were talking. Because really, this is the first time I've heard you really explore these 3 wounds. And what I just keep on getting is your energy of this 8 of clubs. If you can just think of, and this is for anybody, you don't have to be an 8, but if we have our channel and you kind of think of this momentum of the 8 and these wounds, when they are happening, if you think of arteries or just, they might block it completely. And we address it. So, but even when the experience or what we've done has exited, we still carry the scar. I just saw the big blockage is gone, but then there's the scar tissue, and that kind of makes the artery smaller. I'm just thinking like a buildup, like a scar tissue, right? So by really going into these 3 wounds and not just healing the wounds, but addressing the scars, the buildup, that it just clears. It's so clear in my brain. I don't know if I'm explaining this correctly, but I just saw a total flush out of like, yeah.
An example I can give from myself, and happy to share it, was which I can't do in so much detail because it'll be long, but I have done a lot of work on myself. People know I have tension in my face, Bell's palsy, and I talked about it without even realizing when I was doing this work for me, and suddenly went back to when I was 3, and I was like, oh, I'm feeling tension in my face, and recognized, well, this was the time I had first blocked my intuition.
Wow.
And so I was like, oh, well, that realized I actually had Bell's palsy when I was 3. And so mirrored it back to a time, and then I was talking to my mom, well, yes, that's when we took you to the hospital, you had Bell's palsy.
Wow.
So didn't realize, right, that it all came together in that space. And so being able to go into this, working with somebody who I'd been doing this with for myself, and realizing, yes, we have these things. And as soon as I just went through it, within that day, I was like, oh, wow, I'm seeing more. I'm feeling more. I'm able to say more.
Now there's just so much in my mind, like wanting to come. So, because I mean, I know this about you. I know this to be true, but I want people to hear it from you because I feel still there is a false belief around a person speaking, anyone listening. I am not intuitive. I am not a channel. I don't have that capability. Can you just talk about your thoughts on that? Yeah. And
So what I've written and what I believe in this course is that every single one of us has come here with the capability, with the ability to channel. And what I wrote a few months ago is that we are a prism. And I kept writing, we're a prism. And it's how we are seeing it, right? That we have all of it. And that we talk a lot about clairvoyance and audio, all of these things, but that there's also a frequency. And we've been missing the frequency and the tone. So that is a whole other area that needs to be in there, like this whole energetic movement as part of the energetic space of how we talk about people using energy. And so when we can trust that each one of us is moving as energy, that we are aware that we all have this. This is how we are meant to move. And that if somebody says, oh, I use knowing, that's how they might use it now. But in time, with strength, with ability, they can actually open all of this space. And it's just to be able to trust it, to know that like you and I combined together have the ability, right? It's like knowing, okay, well, how does my space work with somebody else's so that you can grow and make more, right?
Yeah. That's where my mind was going, because I think it is important to, first, I haven't said this explicitly. We haven't even introduced you as such, but you are sorry, FYI, Cindy's psychic. I mean, in intuitive, there's so much more. You're one of the only people that I trust at all. I'm very energy sensitive. So, but when I want something, I want a reading, I want an energetic session, I go to Cindy. Okay. And Cindy and I are so different in the expression of our gifts that if we were to compare,
Yeah. Okay.
I feel we would both think we weren't whatever. Like, because I'll just share a story here for everyone of like, oh my gosh, how amazing was that retreat? So Cindy and I hosted a retreat together. We've done so many readings together. And it's so interesting how the same exact message will come to us at the same time, but in completely different ways, right? And it's sometimes we wouldn't have noticed it unless we were sitting literally right next to each other or like on a same call. Cindy, I know you feel things in your body. You can feel an energy. I literally feel nothing. Like, I mean, sometimes, let's talk about this. Sorry, I'll come back to that story, but I just want to point this out of this is why your work right now of when you were able to connect with your own body and become more potent. For me, I've been on my own health journey, and I would say a year ago, it would be accurate to say, I feel nothing.
Yes.
But if I'm now being honest, I feel a lot more now than I used to.
Yes.
Right?
And that's why I think it's with training and time, and
Yes.
it does. And so that's why I mean, so I know what you're going to say because
Say it.
Just kidding.
You say it for me. Let's just work how we always work. Finish each other's sentences.
Starting, and that's why the course is to start, is to say, like, you may at the beginning go, I have no channeling, which is great. That's why I want to start this. It's a beginning course to open these wounds up a little bit with safety, to begin a sacred place. It's 7 months. It's once a week. You're going to be in a beautiful place with people to start to go, wow, I didn't even know what channeling was, because the image is this channeling of like big grand things, but we all
Yes.
have it. But then to know as you start this, yeah, my channeling was one way, yours was another. Little did I know that actually, as yours is open feeling, mine is opening mind.
Yes.
So we actually do have a full channel. Not to freak people out, because then they're going to be like, I could never do it. But I just
Yeah. And we all, of course, like default always to our comfort zone of what we know. But, and if you find a safe space where you can explore,
yes,
you will notice that you have these other things also. It's just louder the way you're used to it or harness it. And I always feel, oh yeah, I didn't. Also, I'm laughing. I'm like, also, Cindy certified me in Reiki, FYI. So Cindy is, Cindy is also a Reiki master.
Yeah.
But I totally remember in the Reiki training, one of the things that I really had to work on is, if anyone listening has ever worked with me, or if you haven't, I'll just tell you how I work. Like, my visuals are so strong, so specific, so precise. It's kind of like I'm watching a movie. And I can say this happened. I see it so clearly. And yet, it was in that training that you helped me to really embrace the metaphor. Because here's me being so cocky. What I'm seeing is never wrong. It's just that sometimes I was taking it so literally. And so I remember I was giving Reiki over someone, and I got to her neck. And I saw a visual that was scary to me about what I saw happening. And I remember saying to you, is this something I should say? And at the same time, the person I was working on said, oh, I'm having thyroid surgery next week, and I'm going to have my neck cut open. And I was like, oh, like there are so many ways that energy works. I would say it's not, as much as we want it to be literal and linear. And I think I would love for you actually just to talk about how you, maybe a few examples from your own life, and how you help others to kind of decode these messages or these repeating messages that people get. I know you're a big fan, as am I, of writing them down, having a journal. But how did you start to really decode what things meant for you, or to realize that like the energy that you were getting was always there, it just wasn't so literal or linear?
I think it's a bit, I always advise people to have a journal or a dictionary, so they start to learn what certain words are, certain smells, or certain things, because it will start to mean something specific. for them. So I know for me, when I started, I always would taste a cigarette. And then at the beginning, I thought it was for somebody individual. But then I realized, no, that's the taste I get when, because I am a medium too. So when I
Yes. Okay, add that.
Thanks. But when I get that, that is just for me an older male. So it's not, that doesn't mean that that person smoked. It's just that that's what I get. For some reason, that's the taste I get for that person. But speaking of symbols and things like that, I am quite adamant, which some people don't like, but I'm very firm on this. And it has taken me lessons to get to this point to say this. One, the person on the table is the one that's doing the healing. And this is really important. And because we are in a logical 3D world here, our minds can get very excited about what we are seeing. We also, in our ego space, want to be the ones healing them. We are there going, oh, great, I'm going to share with them that I have seen this amazing thing. And now I am the all healer. And now I am there doing this work for them. And so when we can give it back to the person, Jessica, you are the one on the table. I want you to invite in your energy team with you and be there with you to support you. I am the one making the phone call to connect up, to help you if you don't know how. But ultimately, you are the one doing the healing. I'm there to move the energy, support the energy. If I, the one making the phone call, sees something, it's very important for me to actually step back a little bit. One, because I might be tuning into you watching In the Middle last night or Sixth Sense. I don't know what I'm picking up. And so me suddenly saying, I saw a dragon on your chest. Did I see a dragon on your chest, or did you just get a visual of the movie you watched last night? And now I've caught it, and now I'm going to say it to you. It's really, this is where energy, we are picking up energy of all sorts of things, right? The most important thing for us to do is know we are clearing, we are removing, we could be picking up something from your past life. We're taking all of that and we're taking it off. When we put logical data to say there was a dragon on your chest and I cleared it off, we put more energy into it, and that person then is going, what? So that is, as this person who's doing the work, and that's taken me time, I used to say a lot, but there are moments where I might say, the 6-year-old you is here, or in picking up that, and then allowing you to go into that space, or I might hear, go in closer. There's something that I'm hearing a nudge I'm supposed to say. Other than that, I leave it really so that it's your private space for you to do that work for yourself.
Yeah, it's just like being a mirror, right? Being a mirror for the other person. And I think one of the many things that I love that you do is a lot of times you do writing for people.
Yes.
And I think this is really important because I want everyone to hear this. I think everyone has this ability, but actually this is where more really bites us in the ass because you write and then your not you, Cindy, but a person will write, then come back in with their logical mind and rewrite it. And things literally get lost in the translation because you aren't the one meant to translate it. So what Cindy will do, which I get, is sometimes, even for myself, frustrating as the receiver. Cindy will write these things, right? I can't even describe some of the writing, right? And then she'll give it to you. And my ego says, Cindy, what the actual blank does this mean? And I know that it's my work to decipher. And anytime that happens, I read it. I get pissed at Cindy for not telling me what it means.
Yeah.
And then 2 days later, in a random moment, I'm like, oh, right. Text Cindy, okay, thank you. It meant this, blah, 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 blah. But do you see how also you are helping others create trust in themselves? And it might take a bit more time, but well, time is not real, but also it's just like it's meant to happen there. So I think that's also a really important message of really trusting in the autonomy and the sovereignty of every human being, and knowing that, again, we each have this choice. Yeah.
I firmly believe in my clients and the people I work with. And I truly believe that the message I'm giving ethically are not mine. And so when I download them, it's because that is private almost between my clients and their guides.
Yeah.
And so the messages I'm getting is not for me to decode, it's for me to pass through. And so when I get them, I'm like, well, this is your message. And I'm here just to share it with love and work with you through other questions you might have. And so people will be like, but what? I'm
Yeah.
like, now go do your work. I'm here to
Go do
help
your
you
work.
with your work. I'm here for questions you might have or curiosity. And yeah, I've lost clients because of it. But that is not my work. And that's what I've realized is my work is not to chase, not to try that I'm not meant to do unethical work.
It's just your integrity. Yeah.
Yeah.
That.
Does that make
It makes total sense. Yeah. And I think this is the point of the conversation where we should tell everybody we're going to put all of Cindy's information in the show notes. You can go to her website. You can learn about this channeling course. You can connect with her on Instagram. But before we go, I want to do a really quick rapid fire questions. Short answers, Cindy. No, just kidding. I'm just trying to have some fun and to see a little bit about your thoughts here. You can go more than one word, but just a quick fire. Are you ready? Here's me. I didn't tell Cindy we were going to do this, but she's ready. Okay. Oh, some of these are going to be longer actually now that I'm rereading them, but here we go. Okay. What do you feel is the most underrated spiritual tool we have?
sleep?
What do you think is the most overrated spiritual trend we have?
Cards.
Oh my gosh, I love it. What is an animal that keeps popping up for you right now?
Hummingbirds.
Beautiful. If your intuition had a flavor, what would it be?
Peppermint.
Oh, peppermint. I love it. Okay. What is one of the fastest ways that someone can shift their energy?
Dancing.
Love it. What is one thing that you are currently working to release even more?
One thing that I'm currently
I'm loving that you're having difficulty with this question because I actually think you're doing it like there's really nothing.
yeah.
I love it. Okay. And now here's...
I know what it is.
Okay.
It's my connection to my hair.
Okay. Yeah, but see, look how similar we look now, Cindy.
I know, yours is still thick. It's just it's the idea of what my old identity was to my new identity.
Yeah. I get that. Okay. And the last couple of questions is going to be, okay, I wish people could see us, but this is what I saw for this podcast. We could have done a whole podcast on this. Okay. Of course you know when people get married because you're now a officiant or a priestess. Yeah. But you know at the reception, how they say, you each have one shoe of someone else's, and they're like, who's most likely to blank first? And then we have to guess. Okay, so I have a friendship edition of Cindy and Jessica. I have a few questions of who is most likely to blank. And then we just have to say it. So, or raise, okay, it's gonna be hard because people can't see us. I did not think this through. Just say it. Say me or Cindy, okay? Who is most likely to text first?
Me.
Cindy. So bad at texting. But I do always think about you. Okay. Who is more stubborn when intuition says wait?
Jessica.
Me, I think. Totally. Who is more likely to ask for a sign and then argue with it?
Jessica.
Yes. Shoot, I don't want it to be me, but I am. And then we're each going to ask you a question. This is going to be different. So, Cindy, what's one thing you know about me that most people don't?
One thing I know about you that most people don't. That you do cry.
I know. I do. Keep my secret. Keep it in the vault, Cindy. I know. I do cry. And what's one thing that I know about you that most people don't? That you're actually a very good singer. You are an excellent singer and a very good dancer too. And then if you could describe my energy in one word, what would it be?
Efficient.
Love it. And if I could describe your energy in one word, it would be love.
Oh.
Oh, I just love you so much. Now we're both ending with crying and whatever. People can't see us. It's fine. Oh, thank you so much for being here, listening. Thank you so much for being here, Cindy. Again, so grateful for 6. We've almost had a whole season together.
Oh, thank you, Jessica.
And many more to come. Please reach out to Cindy. Please connect with her. She is absolutely amazing. I love her so much. And we will see you next time on The Energetic Advantage. Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here inside The Energetic Advantage. If today's episode opened something for you, share it, tag it, or send it to the person who popped into your mind. And remember, energy first, strategy second. Your advantage has always been in you. Now it's time to lead with it. See you next time.